So, trying to figure out how to start this. So, a situation happened where, we're gonna talk about guns. There is a specific gun from Sig Sauer called the P-130, or, the military calls it, the M18. Well, the Air Force calls it the M18, but, let me see, let me just, pull up a picture of it. Yeah, P-320. That's what it's, yep, this thing. This, wonderful, trap. Yeah, this gun right here. So, how do I explain this? So, this gun, it was widely used in, not just in the military, but also, law enforcement of all sorts. And then, ICE, the FBI, and they were all like, maybe I don't like this gun. Well, why do you say that? Dude, I didn't even... It's like, what are you talking about? Dude, my gun was in my holster, and it still fired. Wait, what? Don't you remember the time that I took off? Yeah, sure, what happened? Well, you see, my gun went off while it was in the holster, and, it shattered my femur. No way! Contributing to the cult totem, even though I haven't played Cult of the Lamb in ages, not gonna lie. But hello, Gumi, how you doing? Welcome on in. I can't remember what, this sounds terrible. I can't remember what you're called, like the creature that you are. I actually can't remember what they're called, I'm sorry. So, there was a situation where, yeah, these things, they have been going off in people's holsters. People have dropped it, and the gun went off. So... Zonai? Did I pronounce it right? Zonai? I'm hanging in there. The major storm is over, that I worry. But yeah. Okay, Zonai. Okay, so... Oh yeah, and as you know, Gumi, so, well, you know, what I do, IRL, and, yeah, like I said, this gun, it's been basically mainstream in the military, so I would basically have this gun to my leg. So, hearing about it going off, yeah, new fear unlocked, and of course, it scares me because throughout the years, I would get in and out of the truck, and this thing would keep on jostling and moving and turning all over, on my leg. And during any one of those times, it could have gone off. So I'm just kind of like, oh, well, that's wonderful to know. And then, as, more and more all the DOJ agencies are like, I don't want to play with this gun. We're dropping this. Yeah, we're dropping this too, but yeah, we're dropping this. And unfortunately for the Air Force, this airman, like, the gun was still in the holster. The guy, decided to, put it on the desk. And as he put it on the desk, gun goes off. And unfortunately, it kills him. It shot him in the chest. And, yeah, just about every base that I know, well, how do I explain it? Every Air Force base that I know, they could always use defenders or security forces. And yeah, they lost one. So, even though he wasn't, in my station or anything, in my opinion, that's still kind of a brother to me, and yeah, unfortunately, this happened. So there is an order that, we're all not gonna deal with this pistol. We're not gonna deal with this death trap. And as this happened, more and more footage has been surfacing, including YouTubers that love to play with and test guns. Let me see, let me pull this up. Where are you? There you are. Let me just pull this up. Let me just let's just pause this. And shouldn't they be recalled for that known issue? Well, for the Air Force it is. Well, I would need to. Well, luckily this guy will go through the list, but so Angry Cops made a video about it. Even Penguin Zero or Moist Critical or Charlie, he made a video about it. But let me see if I can. Well, okay, how long is the video? Let's see if it's wonderful. Although, hopefully we're not going to go through all 40 minutes of this. But, yeah, yeah, it's a big deal. So, this guy, Wyoming Gun Project, apparently, he tests guns, he really goes into depth with this. So, I think I can see where this clip is going already. So, as you can see, he doesn't have his finger on the trigger, and he has just a screw in there, that can push it just a tad bit. It can push the trigger just a little bit. And then the slide up here, I hate this thing. I freaking hate this thing so much. Anyways, okay, to give it context, for me, I have to deathly grip on this stupid thing for it to properly cycle through. If you limp wrist it, the cartridge, when it ejects, it'll get caught on the slide and it's gonna jam, and it jams easily when you limp wrist it, and it's so annoying. It is so bad. It's really bad. So, but yeah, you need a death grip on this thing so that it can properly cycle through. And I didn't know about this until he pointed it out that, it's not all that normal, where I guess the slide, it kind of jostles a bit. Usually it just kind of, it's kind of locked in place, but with this kind of thing, you can kind of jostle it a little bit. So, as you can see, he has a screw in there to kind of push this trigger just a little bit. And now he's going to play with this slide. Now watch. Boop. It goes off.
Did you see that? Holy crap! What's going on, folks? So I want to jump in here real quick before we get started. I know this is a long video, and if that's not your thing, that's okay. You just want to see this go off by me manipulating the slide because of that craziness. Just jump to the end, but you're going to lose a lot of context. But basically, we were able to input a millimeter or less of downward movement on the sear and get this slide by manipulating.
That is still crazy. Like, whenever he grabs it just a little bit and jostles it a little bit, I don't think I've dealt with any other pistol that did that. The
slide on the sear and get this slide.
Yeah, whenever he jostles it around, yeah, it's that, I don't know if that's normal for pistols.
By manipulating the slide, we were able to get it to go off and actually fire a primed case 5 times in a row. So, so for some context, this is a unmodified, okay, factory voluntary upgrade, post-voluntary upgrade gun. The only thing changed on here was a set of true glow sights, and the frame was Cerakoted, FDE. That was from the previous owner, okay? Nothing has been done. All the safeties work on here. Nothing has been deactivated to try to simulate anything. All right. All the safeties, striker safety works. The secondary sear safety is there. All this stuff works though. So there it is. Like I said, I know it's a long video and it's not for everybody.
Let me skip a little bit.
Is moving, that's a warning sign.
Wait, hold up.
So that's when you're pulling the trigger and the slide, the upper, is moving, that's a warning sign. So,
Yeah, all this time, I'm just like, okay, I just need to death grip this thing so that it can properly cycle. But yeah, it's like when you're trying to pull the trigger and the slide is already jostling. I didn't know that that was a bad sign. I thought it was me. But funny, and apparently, yeah, like I said, I thought it was me. And guess what? When the first incidents that have been happening about this gun going off whenever, you drop it or it goes off in the holster, the funny thing is, of course, all these DOJ agencies complained, to 6 Hour, the main company that makes this. And you know what the East, and you know what the 6 Hour response was? Although I wonder if this video covers it. But long story short, the company gaslights people where it's like, "Oh no, it's not a mechanical error. It's a you error. No, you're in the wrong, baby girl. Nah, you are the problem. You didn't do things right." Let me see if I can. Okay, so there is no statement in this video, but luckily the angry cops and also the Penguin Zero videos do. So, oh, and also Brandon Herrera as well. But yeah, I'll get to that a bit later. But so I still can't believe that the company had the gall, like they had the nerve to gaslight their customers, being like, "No, it's a you problem, not us. We're fine. It's you." And it's like this whole time, it's like I thought, like, oh, me, like years before I read about the statement, yeah, I thought I was the problem. Like I'm the one that needs to strengthen up my wrists. Granted, my wrists are on the small side, yes, but like I thought, oh, it's me. I'm the problem. I have to really strengthen up my wrists, which partially, yeah, that's true, but apparently, uh, not every pistol would have that issue. Cause the gun before this, I had the M9 Beretta. I still hate how big and clunky it is, but uh, it was definitely a stable gun, and I didn't have to do a death grip on it for it to properly cycle through. But this thing, though, apparently, it would have been better to just go with a Glock if they want the modular features. It would have been just better to go with a Glock.
let's get my handy dandy calipers out here, and let's attempt to measure the amount of movement on between the slide and the frame. So 46 point, we'll say 1.3. I think I bumped it when I pulled it off. Now, 46.03, we'll say 46 millimeters, all right, just for shits and gigs. 46 millimeters, all right? Now, if I squeeze it down, oops, I'm squeezing it. Let me squeeze it on the end. How am I going to do this where I measure in the same spot? All right. 45, God damn it, I bumped it. 45.48. Can we see that? Right on, I'm turning it. And anyway, it says 45.48.
That's crazy.
So that's half a millimeter. Half a millimeter of play. Did you see the torus? There was none. I can't even get it. I have no point in measuring it because there's zero play. There's half a millimeter in play right there. Now, how do we test?
Wow. That little bit of influence. Yeah, just that little bit of influence. That's all it took for catastrophe to happen. That's still crazy to me.
I've had to try to figure out how I can test to partially engage the trigger in the process of its firing, I guess in the process of its firing process, of its firing, whatever. I'm having a brain fart now. Without my input on it. Because remember, it was, you have to have something pull the trigger. Pull the trigger all the way for it to go off. It cannot go off without something pulling the trigger. But this one, at least, we're gonna test it with a primed case later, so I don't know if it will go off, but I know the striker will drop with no input from the trigger. So let's use my handy dandy little tool, this little wood screw here. So
Wood screw.
if we take up the pre-travel, did we measure the pre-travel? I don't think we did. So this is, in case somebody doesn't know, this is pre-travel on a trigger or free play.
I will say, when it comes to stability, well, like when you want to shoot, it's best to, when you get your finger on the trigger, where's my cursor? Yeah, when you get your finger on the trigger, it's nice to press down onto the trigger, like just before you feel that click to where it goes off. Oh, I think I'm noticing something. Okay, let me see. You should only hear me once now. But, okay. But anyways, yeah, let me know. Can you guys still hear me? Like, my levels are going up and down. I'm just making sure that people can hear me, when I'm talking. But, let's see. So, yeah, for stability of the whole gun, like, this applies to not only pistols, but also rifles. When you start to press the trigger, there is, like, a little part where you can feel just that one little thing just before the gun shoots.
Nothing is happening here. No firing process is starting at all. When it hits that wall, that's when it will start lowering the sear and starting the firing process. So, did we do this? Not yet, I don't think.
No.
68.46, okay? 68.46. And what is it to the wall? 66.84.
66. Oh my
Excuse me, 66.84. And 66 or 68.86, I think it was. You know what? Let me do this again. So 46 millimeters. That was travel. We'll write that. Try to get that rest. It's depends on where you hit it, and I got to hit it just right. 68.53 millimeters. 68.53. Now we'll do the take up where it hits the wall. 66.62. 66. So that I can fine tune the amount of engagement in the trigger through the trigger stroke right here. I'm going to use this screw. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this in here. Now this is simulating a human finger, but I'm taking my finger out so nobody can say, you pulled the trigger, bro. You're not pushing the slide and it's going off by itself. This is simulating a human being going through the pre-travel. It's starting the firing sequence of this pistol and taking up slack in the between the sear and we're going to measure how much we took up. Now remember, 66.62 is the wall, right? The wall. That's the start. That's the end of the pre-travel, but the start of the actual trigger pull where we're moving parts, right? So let's see what we got here. Now, I don't know how much the measurement. Let me measure it. We're at 66.9. Let's see if we can get
Sorry, I'm just kind of cutting through all the, the nitty-gritty
it off
bits.
by just touching or let it, if we can release the striker by just touching the slide. Now I'm not touching it with my finger. How about that?
Whoa.
That measurement.
That is the gun going off. That click is the gun going off.
Right there.
That's crazy.
I'm not a math whiz, but that's less than 1 millimeter. Less than 1 millimeter into the firing sequence, and it just dropped the striker. Now, if the safety spring is broken, if the safety is missing, the striker safety, because there have been guns have been delivered to the military and to law enforcement. The Michigan State Police had them, they call them with dead triggers because there was any type of stuff out of here. If this trigger this trigger assembly in here is less than 1 millimeter out of spec, you could have a potential problem. So let's try it again so that and I'll measure the next one too. We have the P320, we have a primed 45 case, and we have the magazine full of empties just to put pressure up on the slide, simulating that it is fully loaded. All right, we got the case in there, simulating that it is fully loaded. Now, if I was to pull the trigger now, it would go off because the striker safety would be disengaged, it would go off. But now we're trying to simulate. Let's see if we can get it. All right, I think that's probably good right there, just to guesstimate. No input from the finger. I'm just gonna tap the slide and we're gonna see if it goes off. Now, again, this is simulating what the FBI found as a shelf on either the sear or the striker hook, and it getting caught up on that, or maybe you're putting input on the trigger.
I'm thinking if some gunk was, like, some dirt and gunk got in there and it built up over time.
And you've only gone less than 1 millimeter.
Oh, by the way, Gumi, can you hear me? I muted one of the stuff so that, I think, like, you could have probably heard two of me. But yeah, can you hear me by any chance?
Through the firing sequence, through
Okay, cool.
the actual movement of the sear.
To give you context, I looked back on, like, one of the VODs and then, like, and I was muted during this one match and I was so mad.
Down is less than 1 millimeter. And we're gonna see if it'll set the cartridge off. I don't know, we'll try it a couple times. It might not, this safety might be working, but the other safeties might not have been, so let's see. Did you see that? Holy crap! Holy crap!
And it's like, in law enforcement, both military and civilian wise, like, dude, we're running, we're jostling around, and we're doing everything, and we're moving, and dude, this cannot happen. I still wonder who in the world tested this. I don't think it got tested. They're like, oh, it went through rigorous tests. No, did somebody get paid off? That's the only thing I can think of, is somebody got paid off, instead of actually getting it tested, for it to be introduced to law enforcement, to all the agencies and military. And that's why you don't punch Freya. Those guns should, like, be recalled for safety reasons. Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, yeah, it did get, it costed an airman's life, but yeah, I know, whatchamacallit. So, quite a few things. I think, no, Angry Cop talks about it, where, yeah, there was a problem. Of course, people complain about it, and then Sig was like, okay, whatevs. Alright, let's see. And then they did some kind of a weird upgrade or something. And then I guess apparently they made it go from bad to worse, where that's then when it started going off in the holsters? Yeah. But yeah, of course. Like, I agree, they should have been recalled. But yeah, like I said, now the Air Forces, they're not using it. I don't know what the Army is gonna do, but yeah. Yeah, we're not using it. I don't know if the Army will look at this and be like, yeah, this might be the one smart decision we do. We're just gonna put this in this little kind of a disposal. It's like, yeah, we don't like you guys, but we don't like you like that. Let's see. When cutting costs goes too far. Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, Realm Splitter, hello, welcome on in, welcome. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, when you do too many budget cuts. Yeah, cutting more like, yeah, basically.
It did it. Holy shit.
Yeah, this is the one time, like, usually, yeah, all these years we're like, dude, guns don't kill people, and now we're gonna be like, yeah, guns don't kill people unless if you're a P360 or whatever this thing is. I refer to it as the M18, but, but yeah, unless if you're a P360 SIG, guns do not go off. I don't know what in the world, I don't know what SIG was doing, but, I don't know what they were doing, I don't know what they were thinking other than instead of fixing the problem, they decided to gaslight their clientele, and now look what happened.
It freaking did it! It freaking did it. What do you got to say now? Why is a pistol, even if you're saying it works properly, why is a handgun able to... I gotta go load more cases. I didn't think it was gonna do it. I wonder if we can do it again. First time. First time. and again, let me show you. The striker safety is working. Look at that. The spring is working. Holy crap. Holy crap. Is that it, guys? Is that it? Is this what's going on? Is there a less than a millimeter of movement? Push it forward because the striker safety is blocking it. Let's put the primed case in. We're going to put the 1045 cases to simulate a full magazine in there. We got our handy dandy trigger input tool.
But yeah, like I said, at this point when you should have just like it's like, dude, you guys should have s- just you should have chosen the Glock. I don't like Berettas, they're too big and clunky. But yeah, it's like you should have stuck with the Glock. Like, but there's the safety mechanism on it. But it doesn't go off in your holster.
All right, let's see. Now that should be roughly a millimeter or less of input into the trigger. And if you touch the slide, let's see if we can touch the slide and get it to go off.
Oh!
Well, that's 2 in a row. Let's try that again. Holy shit. Fired case. Yep. Fully functioning striker safety and striker. Yep. Let's try it again. That's 2. That's 2 in a row. Holy crap. You want to try? Oh, shit. I didn't do. There we go. Yep. Reset. All right. I didn't take the.
Oh yeah, I gotta reset the trigger. Yeah.
Let's see if we can do that again. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna come. I gotta get some better light here. All right. Again, there you go. No fingers on the trigger. Remember, the P320 cannot fire without a full trigger pull.
320. That's what it's called. The P320. P320. Ugh.
We have it staged at a millimeter or less as measured on the table, so this is just a guesstimate. And if we put some input into the slide somewhere, will it go off again? Will it release? Let's see.
That would be a yes.
That's 3 in a row.
It's like, yeah, it's repeatable. You can repeatedly do this thing. Yeah, that's a no. That's a no good. That's a no bueno right there. But let me see if is there a no. He doesn't drop it, but yeah, that is a no bueno. Seeing him fiddling with that gun is really spiking my anxiety. Hey, yeah, it spikes mine too, especially like like I said, I was jostling this thing whenever I get in and out, even just wiggling, in the in any vehicle from like either a pickup truck or a Humvee. This thing is moving around on my leg. Basically, I could have lost my kneecap. Or it could have shattered my not my femur, my tibia. Like, it's crazy. Alright, and this guy, I wanna skip to where let me see if it Uh, wait, which one is that? I think that's the Beretta. Yeah, I think it's the Beretta. He shows up in the Glock. It looks like the Glock. Where is... Oh, okay. So he shows. So it's been a bit, but yeah. So he does show there was a test when the guy is just like, let me see what happens if I drop it at this angle.
Were the results astounding?
We found in our testing that the P320 will fire if it is dropped at a certain angle. This angle is not found in any of the previously mentioned drop tests.
Drop test and 40 caliber. It's got a prime case and then a dummy round on top with a full magazine underneath.
Right there.
Bitch.
Yeah.
So
Immediate.
I guess it's really not drop safe, huh? That's not just a bunch of
One round. That was the very first time we'd ever done it, and it went bang.
We went out and we bought a brand new, never fired, fresh from the box, P320. All right, ready?
Woo!
Now, when you start getting viral videos amassing tens of millions of views about how your product is kind of going off whenever it's dropped, well, you want to make a response. And SIG's response was the VUP, the Voluntary Upgrade Program. No, it didn't say that, hey, if you drop our pistols, they'll go off and we're looking into it and we'll make sure we fix it. No. They say this is a voluntary upgrade program where you can turn in your pistol or receive the parts to upgrade and, I won't say replace, but replace your trigger, the sear, and striker assembly, which all improve, and I quote, the drop safety and prevent unintentional firing.
About that.
It's almost like they had
Yeah.
a problem with that. Now, you would hope that the VUP, the Voluntary Upgrade Program, would have solved all of SIG's problems. Hey, here's a free upgrade to your pistol. Come on and get it. We're making things better for you. We're up in the base model for free for you because you're such a good guy. But even after all that, it somehow got worse for SIG. But how? How could that possibly happen? Well, more and more people were reporting that it was starting to go off on its own. Not even dropping it, just firing. That's right, a pistol sitting there in a holster on a desk. No finger or anything anywhere near the trigger. And it's suddenly going off? That sounds impossible, some might say. And I'm sure SIG thought that. There's no possible way that any of this is actually real. Except one little thing happened. You remember earlier when I said that once the Department of Defense got those firearms, well, a lot of law enforcement agencies thought, hey, it's been tested by the government already, vigorously. Why don't we take it on as our department duty weapon? Well, a lot of police officers wear body cams, don't they? And if you're a police officer in a department that wears body cams, and a department that has taken on the SIG P320 as their duty pistol, well, then you've got the perfect storm of accountability in the form of video and audio recording and the potential of a firearm that may potentially kind of go off by itself. Now evidence is no longer a problem because police body cameras begin to record the SIG P320's random discharges of rounds while in a holster, while just sitting there doing absolutely nothing and then going off. And because it's a police department, they're notated. Uh-oh. Now we got video, audio, and we actually have a paper trail of these things happening with internal documents from law enforcement agencies about the pistol going off during training events when they're on the range or in a courthouse or even when they're effecting an arrest inside of a police station. Now the evidence is undeniable to SIG. So undeniable that all these agencies dropped the figuratively and literally, the SIG P320 from being their duty weapons. U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, the Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission, the Vancouver Police Department in Canada, Oregon State Training Agencies, the U.S. Air Force Global Strike Command, only recently after one of its troops died because the SIG P320 went off. But SIG made it worse. How did they make it worse? Well, they blamed the consumer.
I still can't believe.
On March 7th, 2025, SIG was tired of it all. SIG
here we go.
decided that they were going to put out a post on Twitter and Instagram and all over the social medias and say, enough is enough. It ends now, if I'm not mistaken. Which, hindsight being 2020, sure doesn't look too good right now. But let's read through it together, shall we?
Shall we?
6 out. The P320 cannot, under any circumstances, discharge without a trigger pull. This is a fact. Ooh.
About that.
Is it? The allegations against the P320 are nothing more than individuals seeking to profit or avoid personal responsibility.
Oh.
They happen to be just people that got shot.
I don't think this detective who shattered her fucking femur was anti-gun. She might be anti-SIG now. In February 2018, her holstered original version of the P320 discharged without a trigger pull as she jostled the holster to remove it from her belt. X-rays showed that her femur had been severed in half with shards of bone fragments and substantial shrapnel left in her right leg, as seen here. What an anti-gun grifter.
Recently, anti-gun groups, members of the mainstream media, trial attorneys, and other uninformed and agenda-driven parties have launched attacks on one of Sig Sauer's most trusted, most tested, and most popular product, the P320 pistol. In all cases, these individuals have an ulterior motive behind their baseless allegations that the P320
Baseless allegation?
can fire without a trigger pull. They have no evidence, no data, and no empirical testing to support any of their claims. They instead chose to misrepresent clear, negligent discharges as a, quote, design problem. Which, by the way,
Is that
you did
so?
come up with a design solution and called it the VUP. Sig went on to say, in the decade since its introduction, the P320 has undergone the most rigorous testing and evaluation of any firearm by military and law enforcement agencies around the world. It consistently delivers a proven record of performance and reliability through state-of-the-art engineering and documented quality control at every stage of its production.
Oh, really? Really? Sorry, I'm pressing X to down on the whole quality control thing.
Rigorous testing, yes. You know,
Yeah, and rigorous testing. Pressing X to down on that one as well.
you can go through rigorous testing and it can still be like I can go through rigorous testing and take the bar exam and I can still fail it. So really, rigorous testing doesn't mean unless you learn from that rigorous testing, like, I don't know, tens of thousands of firearms going out into the public and them using it and then finding out that it accidentally detonates all by itself. That would be rigorous, would it not? And speaking of rigorous, did you ever just drop it? Did you ever just drop it? Did you ever just fucking drop it? Huh, clear negligent discharges. Is this a negligent discharge? Discharges where nobody's touching the firearm, nobody's fingers in the trigger,
Yeah, it was
and it just
plain.
goes off? Discharge
Yeah, his finger was clearly away from the trigger.
is when people are putting it in the holster, finger not in the trigger whatsoever, and when it locks in, it goes off. Or when they're just standing there and it just goes off. That's their fault. That's their fault? Claims that unintended discharges are anything more than negligent handing and or manufactured lies to support an anti-gun, anti-SIG agenda are false. Furthermore, lawsuits claiming that the P320 is capable of firing without the trigger.
What? Okay, why would law enforcement lie about this? It's like, seriously, like, why would the law enforcement lie and then be like, oh, we're anti-gun? Like, come on. You have to make it make sense, dude. Like, honestly, oh man. Yeah, see, it's killing my brain. It's making me have a stroke. How can law enforcement, in general, be anti-gun, during their job? Because, there will be times when a firearm needs to be used, because the threat is, it's very dangerous. It's, it's grim. It's, if you don't take them out, they're going to take either you out or you and or somebody else. So, yeah, and law enforcement knows this. It's like, hey, it's either us or them. Taking out the threat. Why on earth would they be anti-gun? Like, really? Honestly. Like, why would they be anti-gun? Like, come on, please. Answer me that. SIG.
trigger being pulled have been dismissed in courtrooms around the country. In addition, multiple plaintiffs' so-called experts have conceded it is not possible for the P320 to discharge unless the trigger is fully actuated. Huh? Is it? The rhetoric is high, and we can no longer stay silent while lawsuits run their course and clickbait farming engagement has.
See, and his finger was clearly, you know, off the trigger. It was clearly off the trigger.
Grifters continue their campaign to hijack the truth for profit. Enough is enough. From the courts of law to the court of public opinion, we combat the lies and misinformation with the truth. 6 Hour stands behind the quality, safety, and design of all of our products, especially the P320.
Well, this aged like milk.
And then they say that, you know, the industry should be scared and aware that people are going after SIG for no reason, because they could be next. They could be next on the chopping block. But all of that context now brings us here today, because the headquarters of the Air Force Global Strike Command put out a memo just the other day after one of their airmen was killed when he put his firearm on his desk and it discharged all by itself. Yep. What a, how strange. I thought SIG said a P320 couldn't do
thank
that.
you for the follow.
Immediate
Highly
action
appreciate
required
it.
effective immediately. All personnel in AFGSC will pause use of the M18 MHS for all operational and training activities until further notice. This pause will remain in place until completion of ongoing AFOSI and safety investigations into a recent incident at FE Warren Air Force Base. Wing commanders and DFCs will arm personnel with the M4 rifle in place of the M18. By the way, the M18 is the military nomenclature, the number that it's assigned to as a property item that the military uses for the SIG P320. So when you hear M18 or M17, that's just the normal version and the short barrel version of the SIG P320 made for the military.
Yeah, we use this one. Well, yeah, we use this one.
And at this moment, there is an Army unit that is doing the same. I just don't have confirmation of the Army unit that's doing that. So here we are, with all this history of the SIG P320 going off, them trying to make changes with the VUP, them going after everybody in their freaking comment section of social media saying it's not our fault, nothing's happened, and then an avalanche of video evidence coming in showing SIG that there is an issue with it going off. Culminates in, unfortunately, the death of an airman, and now the Air Force and the DoD taking note. I mean, all these other law enforcement agencies, including ICE, already took note and said, we're not dealing with this. We'll go to something else. But now even the Air Force is saying, what the is going on? Even SIG had a response to the airman who unfortunately lost his life. Our hearts are with the service members and families impacted by the recent reporting event at the FE Warren Air Force Base. We proactively offered assistance to the U.S. military as they investigate the incident and remain willing to help in furtherance of their ongoing inquiry. We have absolute confidence in the military's ability to conduct a thorough investigation and are working with the Air Force and Army to answer any of their questions. I guess my question, if I was the Secretary of Defense, after knowing about all these discharges caused and only caused by your weapon and its manufacturing, why didn't you remove those issues and fix them immediately, even as they continue?
I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know why they decided to die on this hill.
To occur. And then, why wouldn't you notify the Department of Defense or other law enforcement officials that there was some sort of deficiency in your firearm? But you were working quickly in order to modify your weapon and solve that issue. Well, it almost seems as though you've been intentionally negligent in sharing this information with everybody about your product that fires rounds off all by itself, SIG. Now, I don't know how SIG's gonna recover from this. Frankly,
I don't. Well, granted, they're not gonna die off like Vishojo, but I really don't know how they're gonna recover from this. I don't know if they will. Like, I actually don't know. Like, I wonder how long has Sig Sauer been around? Since 1975. Okay. So they've been around for, let me see if I can, here, I'll pull up a calculator on my phone. So they've been around for, let's clear that out. So 1975. They've been around for 50 years. Okay. So they've been around for 50 years. That's a tough call. I actually don't know. Like, sure, they've been around for a bit, but but compared to, let's see, how about this? How long has 1963? So Glock has been around a bit more often, they have a bit more of an edge, and then how about this? Go away. Yeah, bro, Sig doesn't have a leg to stand on. Oh, oh. At this point, you talk bad to the gun and it just shoots you. I know, right? That's why I only trust my two dearest friends when it comes to guns. Ah! Ah! I did. I didn't read this until now. Beautiful. Oh, dude, that's perfect. I'm like, okay, 50 years, that's not too long for a firearms company. I wonder, how long has the Glock been around? Okay, like, a little over 10 years longer. Okay, well, how about Smith& Wesson since 1852? Yeah, dude, forget it. Like, dude, you're done. I think, I, I, Sig may or may not be done. They might be. I don't know. I will say it depends if the government, and then to stack on top of the government, all the law enforcement agencies and military try to chip in, and like they all try to sue Sig Sauer individually. Like, an agency, like one agency on top of the other, just suing 6 hour back to back to back. Although mainly, I think the military might actually. No, no. Law enforcement can also do it because somebody did get hurt pretty bad. They didn't die, but they got hurt pretty bad. Yeah, the femur getting cut in half by force. um, Now they're cooked. Yeah, might be. Yeah. A high-ranking military officer getting killed due to your company's negligence in design is pretty much GG's. Yeah, I could see that. Granted, it was an airman that got killed, but I think, even though like they were enlisted, I'd say that might still hold enough weight to where the 6 hour might be good. Megalol just got an ad for the. No way! What are the odds? No! No way! What? what? What are the odds? This is the second time I'm showing something dangerous, and then you get an ad about, an ad for a law firm. Yeah, it's like, I think the first time, like, something happened, I forgot what it was, and then, yeah, you got a law firm ad for it, and now there's this, and then, again, law firm. Have you been hurt by an accident? Well, yeah, here you go. Oh, man. uh, Although I'm kind of curious. I know I've seen revolvers of Smith& Wesson, but let me see. Smith& Wesson, Wesson, pistols. Let me see what they look like. I don't think I've seen them before. Oh. Oh, hey. This might this might work for the military. So Glock could be good, and yeah, Smith and Wesson could be good as well. What's this? Oh, that might be a safety thing, but okay, okay, all right. They got some. Oh, okay. Yeah, this could work. I think yeah. If they paint it in the coyote tan thing, I think it could work. Yeah, I think it could work. Possibly. They used to make revolvers back in the day, right? Yeah, they made revolvers. I've seen them before. If I remember correctly, they're huge. Yeah, see, like this, like back in the old west. Yeah, that. Yeah, I might have issues actually trying to handle this like with one hand. Yeah, I would need two hands. Although, luckily, the cycling won't be an issue. Like, I might limp wrist it, which, yeah, sure, the aim may or may not be. No, it will be off if I limp wrist it. If I limp wrist it, like, yeah, I may not hit my target, but at least the cycle has gone through. And, the gun hasn't jammed. Well, I don't think I don't think you can really jam a revolver. And I kind of like even the versatility with revolvers of what kind of bullets you can put in it. There's like, the usual M9 or whatever, and then like you can actually use like miniature shotgun rounds. Like these miniature bird shots, and I'm just like, "What? You can do that?" But yeah. It's quite interesting. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, they make revolvers as well. Is this the governor? This might be the governor. I don't know. But yeah, back in the old days. Anyways, so yeah. Wait, whoops, wrong vid.
My opinion is that it should be pulled. And then we go with the freaking Glock. You want modular? There's modular. Like I said, it's a freaking Lego. Do you know how many third-party companies there are that make additional add-ons for this thing? And you decided
Nope,
that
I honestly haven't known.
Sig was going to be the most modular firearm ever? Come on, DOD. No,
I know, exactly. DOD, come on, dudes.
People that like SIG, and I know people that know the P320 is an issue, but like other firearms, like the P325 and other from SIG, I personally, and I'm sure many other people, probably don't want to put their money on a product where the company's entire existence is to make it shoot only when you want it to shoot, and then when it doesn't, they deny, and then act like spoiled children, blaming us for their product that's broken. Well, SIG,
or
I hope you're
defective.
happy. We all knew eventually it was going to happen, that somebody was going to get shot and they weren't going to make it back from your pistol design that decides that it's going to randomly fire when it wants to. Honestly, I don't think anybody gives a about how it feels in your hands if they're not sure when it's going to go off. These night sights are great, but I sure wish I knew when it would go off. Pow! Oh, there was one. Mom? Mom? Updates. We have updates. Do you remember how I said that YouTubers will take items and things that they see and try to prove that something can or can't happen with them? Basically a science experiment on the internet for all of us to see. Well, some beautiful bastard did it with the SIG P320. Wyoming Gun Project. Go to his channel after this. Go to the link down below. I'll have the whole video linked.
Yep, we already watched. Well, a good chunk of it. Well, the important parts.
Took his own SIG P320 that he bought and decided he would do some experimenting. Now, the SIG that he has in his hot little hands right there is the SIG P320 after the VUP, the Voluntary Update Program, the one that's supposed to fix the trigger and stop it from going off randomly. Oh, this beautiful bastard did it. And by taking a screw, and I forget what those calipers are called that measure millimeters and thousandths of an inch, slowly moves the trigger back less than a millimeter, less than half of a millimeter, and then starts playing around with the slide. Guess what happens? It goes off. Then he puts a blank round into the chamber, puts the magazine in, keeps that trigger pulled back just a hair of a half, and then manipulates the slide, and guess what happens?
It went off again.
It goes off. Now, WGP, Wyoming Gun Project here, cracked the code. And frankly, he does a great job of saying it himself, but I'll try to break it down for you. Do you know how easy it is for a trigger to be pulled back a half of a millimeter? Do you then know how easy it is for a slide to be torqued left or right as if a police officer is running with it in their holster?
Yep.
Very easy. I'm surprised you can't just jump up and down.
Yeah, it's a miracle that me and the rest of my unit hasn't, gotten hurt by this. Honestly, it's a miracle that none of us has gotten hurt by this. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know if it's because, of us frequently cleaning our guns, after firing them. Like, I don't know, but definitely the Lord has influenced that. It's crazy. Um, yeah. So I'm curious as to what the DoD is gonna do for sidearms now. I don't know if they're gonna go back to the Beretta or they're gonna look at the Glock and be like, "All right, yeah, we're gonna see what you guys do." If not, like either that or even probably even look at Smith and Wesson because I didn't know that they made. That's the revolver. Cause yeah, there's some stuff in here where I'm like, hey, in my opinion, this could work. Oh, there's even like a miniature safety thing right here. Probably this one. Oh, I mean, it's kind of cute. Although, granted, I think the magazine might be too small. Yeah, they might use a bigger gun so that the magazine can hold more rounds. But like, okay, not gonna lie. Well, I understand, but this looks a tad weird. Like, the portion size looks weird, but that's just me. But yeah, so yeah, either Smith and Wesson or Glock could work, in my opinion. This is so crazy. Well, but yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about for a bit, because yeah, it was not only it not only unlocked a new fear, and kind of shook me, because of all these years of me handling this gun, and then to realize this could have happened to you, and then it's like, yeah, even just weeks ago when I did my drill makeups, like that's scary. Uh, Honestly, it's really really scary. But let's see here. All right, well, yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about real quick. But let's